All right, in this section, we're going to look at a couple new things. First off, being domain and range. So whenever you're asked to find the domain of a function, we are looking at the possible x values. Okay, so these are the possible x values that we can actually plug into the function. So here, bullet point, they go through it. Which ones are we allowed to use to get real y values? For most functions, the answer is going to be all real numbers. Okay, so you can plug in any x value into a function and it'll work for you. For what we're working with right now, quadratic functions, the domain is going to be all real numbers. This right here, this r, is another symbol to represent all real numbers. And that's because if you think about it, if I were to graph quadratic function like a regular one, it goes to the right for forever and it goes to the left for forever. So it hits every x value. The range is a little different though. For range, it's going to be possible y values. And these are the outputs that are produced from the x values we put in. For quadratic functions, you're going to want to look at the vertex. Okay, more specifically, the y value of the vertex. That's what everything comes down to here. So if the parabola is opening up, okay, like this, your range is going to be every y value greater than or equal to the y coordinate of the vertex. If it's going to open down, it's every y value less than or equal to the y coordinate of the vertex. Okay, but once again, the key is to figure out what your vertex is, and then if it opens up, it's the values greater. Okay, so going up. If it opens down, it's the values less than. Okay, these examples didn't print, so I'm just going to skip them. So more specifically for mins and maxes, like let's say we open up like this. Okay, you look at it, we would have a low point right here. Okay, so that low point is going to be my minimum. On the other hand, if it opens down, we have a high point, so we go ahead and call that high point our maximum. So there's a couple examples we're going to look at here. I'm actually going to add to them. So first off, we want to determine will it open, which way will it open, and whether it's going to be a min or a max. And then we just want a general shape. So with this right here, our a value is going to be 2. Since the a value is positive, our parabola is going to open up. And since it opens up, our vertex is going to be a minimum. Okay, so if I do a rough sketch, which we're going to just do right here, I have a graph that looks like this, something like that anyways. And since that's a low point, be a minimum. Other hand, for 4, our a value is -1. Since our a value is -1, parabola is going to open down. Since it opens down, our vertex is going to be a high point, so that would make it a maximum. Okay? All right, last thing I want to look at would be putting it all together. So what we talked about last week and then adding to this week. Remember, first step is ABC, so this one, my A is 1/3, B is 0, C is 0. Your axis symmetry is opposite B over 2A. So for this one, since B is 0, our axis would just be 0. Vertex, if I plug in 0 for x, we're going to have a vertex at 0, 0. Parabola opens up. Personally, before I answer max or min, I'm going to go ahead and make a rough sketch. So since it's opening up, we're going to have our vertex be 0, 0. My vertex is the low point, so that makes it a min. And then domain and range. For all of these, your domain is all real numbers. And then my range, we have y values with 0. And since we're going up, it's every y value greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so that's number 5. 6, we're going to go ahead and do ABC. So A is a -1, B is 0, C is -4. Axis, again, since B is 0, our axis is going to be x equals 0. We go ahead and plug in 0 for x to get our vertex. When I plug in 0, my vertex is going to be 0, -4. And then the parabola opens down. Again, I'm going to do a rough sketch first. So rough sketch. Vertex is 0, -4. Okay, looking at that. That vertex is a high point, which means it's a max. And then domain and range again. Your domain would be all real numbers. Our range goes y, -4. And since we're going down, it would be less than or equal to -4.